Amazing. Jeon. So last time we talked about human DNA and genetics. There, we've learned the most importance of DNA in every human life, on how it works, and how it codes genetic information of every human that upholds their life. Speaking of life, do you have any idea how it started? This topic has already been argued by people since then. Did you ever wonder, before DNA and genetics, and way before we, humans, our Earth has already experienced various events, and living things were also present? Basic knowledge: humans are not the first living things on Earth. We know that. However, what was really up to the Earth before that? For today's segment, embrace yourselves and let's all fill in your curiosity and knowledge as we are going to talk about
History of life.
Amazing J! So, Earth was formed about 4.5 billion years ago or Gigaans, and many evidences suggest that life emerged prior to 3.7 Gigaans. It is based on geological timescale that shows the divisions of history of life that based on life forms that have existed during the specific times since the creation. And these divisions are eons, eras, and periods. Amazing J ba? So, what really are these divisions? Eons, eras, periods? Let's hear it off with Josh. Amazing J! Aeons are the longest proportion of geologic time. They are subdivided into Hadean, Archean, Proterozoic, and Phanerozoic within two categories of the periods Precambrian and Cambrian.
Under the Precambrian are Hadean, Archean, and Proterozoic. On the other hand, Phanerozoic is under Cambrian. To make things clear, aeons are subdivisions of the periods within the era. Starting off with Precambrian period, which was the age of early life, wherein continents formed and our modern atmosphere developed, while early life evolved and flourished. In this period, soft-bodied creatures like worms and jellyfish lived in the world oceans, but the land remained barren.
This period started with the division of Hadean Aeon that dates from 4.5 billion to 4 billion years ago.
Seeing J. Did you know that Hadean Eon is the oldest eon? It is dated from about 4,567.3 to 4,031 billion years ago, and is also named after the Greek god and ruler of the underworld, Hades, as this time represents Earth's earliest history, during which the planet was characterized by a partially molten surface, volcanism, and asteroid impacts with no life forms. Hadean Eon is the first eon on Earth wherein Earth established a heat source with the sun. Convection currents produce a geodynamo, which was the first step for life to persist on Earth and the Moon, which was the key in establishing our climate was formed. The amazing fact, it is unlikely that life could have been formed and established in the extreme volatile conditions of the Hadean Eon.
Due to the condition of Hadean Eon, if life had begun to form at this time, it most likely would have been destroyed over and over again until the optimum conditions were at place to take life into uphold. This is where Archean Eon took place for 1031 to 2500 billion years ago. During this time, Earth cooled down. It was able to support oceans and continents. Aside from that, oxygen filled the ocean from cyanobacteria, and interestingly, most of the world's iron ore deposit were produced in this eon from banded iron formation. It was also during the time when eventually the ocean layer forms, which is a layer of protection that was essential for life to form. Earth's atmosphere was mostly methane and nitrogen, and the only life forms that could exist were anaerobic cyanobacteria, which converted sunlight to energy in the absence of oxygen to carry out photosynthesis in the oceans, metabolizing their own food. Furthermore, Archean Eon proceeded with the Proterozoic eons.
Proterozoic Eon, known as the Paleoproterozoic Eon, dated from 2600 to 538.8 billion years ago, which marks the critical period in Earth's history, where life began to take shape in a big way.
This is when only life forms that were simple, single-celled organisms are present during the first part of the Aeon. Along the time of Proterozoic Aeon, significant events such as the oxygenation event, wherein cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, began to produce oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis, and the emergence of first complex multicellular organisms known as eukaryotes occurred.
Reaching towards the end of this Aeon, Earth experienced a series of dramatic climate shifts known as the snowball Earth events. During these periods of extreme glaciation, saw the entire planet, including the equator, covered in ice. Amazing, Jade!
Similar to Proterozoic Aeon, now we have Phanerozoic Aeon that has seen significant changes in Earth's continent, especially the well-known breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea that began around 200 million years ago.
It is the eon of visible life that is divided into three major spans of time, largely in the basis of characteristic assemblages of life forms, namely Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic eras. Paleozoic era witnessed the birth of modern Earth. During this time, it was a time of intense transformation marked by the diversification of life and the shaping of continents. The supercontinent of Pangaea formed, bringing together the scattered land masses of the ancient world, and greatly influenced the global climate patterns and shaped the evolution of life. It was this time when several distinct periods showcased the remarkable evolution of life and Earth's ever-changing landscapes.
Starting off the Cambrian, also known as the Cambrian explosion, that marked the proliferation of life in the Earth's ocean. This period saw the emergence of rapid marine organisms such as trilobites, branchiopods, and early vertebrates.
This is followed by the Ordovician period that continued diversification of marine life. During this time, coral reefs flourished in warm, shallow seas, while cephalopods and jawless fish become dominant predators. The Silurian period witnessed a groundbreaking event, the colonization of land by the plants and arthropods. This marked the beginning of terrestrial ecosystems and paved the way for the eventual emergence of complex land-dwelling organisms. Moving to the Devonian period, often called the Age of Fishes, the evolution of diverse aquatic species, including armored fish and early sharks, took place. On land, towering forests and swamps provided habitat for the first amphibians and giant insects.
Amazing, Jay!
Coniferous period was a time of lush, tropical forests and extensive cold swamps.
During this time, giant ferns and horsetails thrive in the humid climate, while early reptiles began to diversify and dominate terrestrial ecosystems. And lastly, the Permian period marked the end of Paleozoic era, with significant geological and biological events. It saw the formation of Pangaea and the emergence of early mammal-like reptiles. Amazing J Trivia! Paleozoic era ended with the largest mass extinction in Earth's history, known as the Permian-Triassic extinction event, which paved the way for the dawn of the Mesozoic era. Mesozoic era is also known as the Age of Reptiles, one of the most popular and beloved events of the geologic time scale that began about 252 million years ago until the end of 66 million years ago. It is divided into three major divisions: Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous period. The ancestors of major plant and animal group that exist today first appeared during this time, but this era is best known as the time of the dinosaurs.
Amazing, Jay! The first division Triassic period had one of the most devastating events for the organisms roaming during that period, ranging from 252 million years ago and ending about 201 million years ago. In this time, the Great Dying or Permian-Triassic extinction event caused massive extinction to several organisms due to massive volcanic eruptions and the release of high amounts of methane in the oceans. Along in this interval were the array form of ferns that were abundant.
Followed by the second division drought. Expanded into 101 million years ago until 145 million.
When any groups of vertebrate and invertebrate organisms important in the modern world made by their first appearance. On land, dinosaurs and flying pterosaurs dominated the ecosystem, and birds made their first appearance. Early mammals were also present, though they were still fairly insignificant. Insect populations were diverse, and plants were dominated by gymnosperms or naked seed plants.
This period with a time interval between 145 million years ago and 66 million years ago.
During this time, dinosaurs were the dominant group of land animals, especially duck-billed dinosaurs, such as Shantangosaurus, and horned forms such as Triceratops.
Giant marine reptiles such as ichthyosaurs, mosasaurs, and plesiosaurs were common in the seas, and flying reptiles like pterosaurs dominated in the sky.
And flowering plants like angiosperms arose close to the beginning of the Cretaceous and became more abundant as the period progressed.
Our Earth's history are amazing, right? Did you learn something for today? This history holds the past of our existence. Thus, we should keep it in our minds. That's all for today. And please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below so you will be notified in our next video. Kita-kits mga ka-Jeon!